Hi, I'm Dr. Jonathan Newland, and in just a moment, one of our physicians are going to be in the room to go over and explain your condition in detail. But before they come in, I think it's important to know a little bit about the background of the spine and the nervous system. So here I have a plastic model of the spine, and what we see is the back of the skull, and then we see 24 bones that we call vertebrae. They're movable vertebrae. And the way God designed the body is your brain sits up here in your skull, and then there's a big hole in the skull, and the brain turns into the spinal cord, and the spinal cord travels all the way down inside your spine. And then coming off of that spinal cord, you have 31 pair of spinal nerves. And so your brain is intricately connected to every single cell in your body through this system of nerves and through the spinal cord in the brain. And so the way it does it, the signals start in the brain, they travel down the spine, out these nerves, and that's how the brain communicates with the body. Now, if we have interference in the system, the body's not going to work the way it's supposed to. So for example, if you dove in a shallow pool of water and broke your neck, and that bone went into the spinal cord, it could cause damage where your body wouldn't be able to work from that point down. We don't see those type of injuries here. If we did, we'd refer you out. But if one of these bones just gets misaligned, not broken, but misaligned, it can pinch and it can put pressure on those nerves. So the brain's not able to get the right information out to that body part. So let's go over an example of how this works. If I wanted to raise my hand in class, for example, I raise my hand. We don't even think about it. But our brain had to generate impulses. It sent that message down the spinal cord. The message came down my arm to the muscles in my arm and my hand raised. Another way that it works is to protect us. So if I touched a hot stove, that message, it would be pain, would travel up my arm, into my neck, up to my brain. My brain would say pain. It would send a message back down to the muscles, and my arm would quickly jerk away to protect myself. So that's how the brain and the nervous system work to protect us. As a chiropractor, we analyze the spine, and generally we'll take x-rays. We'll do a thorough exam, but then we'll take x-rays, and we'll look to see if all these bones line up. So these bones, the back part of them are called the spinous processes. And if those bones get misaligned, it's not going to damage the spinal cord, but it can pinch and put pressure on nerves. And then you'll get a warning signal, like pain. You might get neck pain, or the muscles go into spasm, or you might get headaches or low back pain. So on x-ray, we mark each one of these to analyze if that's where the problem is. And if that is where the problem is, we go in and we adjust it to take pressure off the nerve so the body can heal itself. If you have misalignments in the spine, it's not something that you want to mask with medication, pills, potion, other things. You want to get to the root of the problem. And I'll explain this in an analogy like this. If you were driving your automobile, traveling down the road, and your check engine light came on, well, you'd either pull over or you might wait a little bit, but you're going to take your vehicle to the service station. You're going to take it to the dealer to get the problem fixed. You definitely would not take a black magic marker and mark it out and just ignore the problem. It's the same thing with symptoms that you're experiencing in your body. Get to the root of the cause, and that's what we hope to do with chiropractic. Another angle that we look at with the spine oftentimes is the side view. So here's a side view of your neck. You're supposed to have two curves. So a lot of times if we see like a car accident, the head will get whipped back and forth, and that'll cause the muscles to go into spasm, tendons and ligaments get damaged, it pulls the neck straight. Well, your head weighs 8 to 13 pounds, and so the curve should look something like this on the diagram. But if your neck is reversed, now the weight of the head is coming down on these bones. And if you leave it like that, if you don't work on getting the curve back in the neck, over time, there will be degenerative changes occur. So the disc material, the cartilage in between the joints can wear out. The body can build more bone to try to protect itself, but really it causes pain, immobility, arthritis, things of that nature. So the two angles of the spine that we look at most are the back view and the side view. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our presentation today, and in just a moment the doctor is going to be in. Thank you for your attention.